DreAllDay.com.
So we about to talk about vision. All right, we're gonna talk about vision. YIC9, what's going on? Welcome. This is the Dre All Day show. I don't think this is Working Your Game University here. This is Dre All Day show. I mean, it's all those things all at the same time. But what we're gonna talk about today, we're gonna talk about vision. All right, and it's a different type of vision. And I know y'all know Leo 13 Garcia. What's up? Y'all know what type of vision I'm talking about. I'm not talking about vision that you can tell me how many fingers I'm holding up, none of that. I'm not talking about that type of vision. I'm not talking about glasses or contact lenses or LASIK eye surgery. I'm talking about vision of being able to see where you're going. Now, just the other day, I was listening to this talk. I listen to a ton of personal development. That's usually all I listen to. I listen to a little bit of music. I don't even listen to music that much. Like, I'm Leo, what's up? I'm way behind on what's going on in music these days because I don't really listen to the new stuff. There's only a few select people I listen to something new that comes out because I spend so much time to listen to personal development. And if I'm not listening to actual audio, then I have a video playing because I got 2 computers. So I have a video playing of somebody speaking, like a Jack Canfield, a Jordan Belfort, a Tony Robbins, a Napoleon Hill, Les Brown, all types of people who are doing anything in business. It's not necessarily some old guy who wrote a book, what's going on at Ball at 22. It might be somebody who's just successful in their business, because I got to understand that the concepts, the principles that make people successful in business apply across the board. You could take somebody who's really successful in doing a business, like you could take the guys who started Uber. Y'all know Uber, the car company where you get a ride. You could take the people who started Uber and listen to them talk for an hour about the principles that made them successful, and you could apply that to a basketball team, and a lot of the stuff that they talking about will apply. Nick Reeder told me I should read Mark Cuban's book. I already read it, man. I'm 10 steps ahead of you, bro. I done read more books than you probably think. But if you go to my website, DreAllDay.com, I got a list on there of all the books that I've read. Not all of them, but all that I've read since I had my website that I remember to review. And you'll see the list of the books that I read. So I read a ton of books, and anything I haven't read that most people know about is on my bookshelf on iBooks. I just didn't get to it yet, but I read a ton of books. But anyway, let me make sure I gotta make sure I'm on Do Not Disturb mode right now, just so. Somebody asked me, do I get up at 6 a.m.? I get up at 4 a.m. I don't get up at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is old. 6 a.m. is what? 6 a.m. All right, when people getting up at 6 a.m., sometimes in the summertime, you know what happens? I be following people on Twitter or on Facebook, and they be tweeting or posting status updates about how they getting up at 6 a.m. Like, it's impressive. See, that's what people do. When people want to get up early and impress you, they get up at 6 a.m. So I would never get up at 6 a.m. If I get up at 6 a.m., I'm late for something. I never get up. Of course I read 48 Laws of Power. Are you kidding me? I read that book almost 15 years ago, really 15 years ago. But when somebody gets up at 6 a.m. and they post it on social media, they're trying to impress you, which means that's what the average person would do. So I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. I got to get up at least 5:30, so I'm a half hour ahead of those people. But then I pushed it back to 5, and I pushed it back to 4:30, and I pushed it back to 4. So I get up at 4 o'clock now. But anyway, that's not what this post is about. We're talking about vision. And anyway, I was saying that I'll listen to a lot of personal development because a lot of this stuff, because maybe you want to be a great basketball player. Maybe you want to go to the NBA. All right, maybe you want to be a famous heart surgeon. Maybe you want to be maybe you want to be an astronaut. And there might not be a lot of famous people who are on YouTube or got a big social media following who have done the thing that you want to do, or at least talking about it in a way that you could apply it and it makes some sense. Like, there's a lot of great basketball players out there, but it's one thing to watch the highlights because that'll show you how the game is played. It's another thing you got to feed your mind because you're going to need that information. A lot of that will help you on the court and off. And there ain't a lot of basketball players who can give you a lot of substance verbally. They can give you a lot physically. They can't give you a lot of substance verbally. So you can take the information from people who've done well in other areas of life and business and things like that and apply it to what you do on the court, and it will actually help your game. You just got to open your mind to the information. The reason I'm sharing that is because the other day I was listening to this guy, Jordan Belfort. Y'all saw The Wolf of Wall Street, right? Y'all know the movie. So the actual guy, though, not the movie, the actual Jordan Belfort. It was an interview he did like 2.5 years ago, before the movie was even out. It was when the book first came out. It was before they even knew the movie was going to happen. It was like they got a tentative deal to do a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. They were just kind of throwing the idea out there. It wasn't even set in stone they were going to do it yet. And he was talking to Jordan Belfort and asking him, what was it that made you successful? Because everybody knows the story of the Wolf of Wall Street. He was on Wall Street. He was selling these real cheap stocks. He came up with this sales technique where he basically duplicated it, where he could teach to any dumbass how to do the sales technique. They all started making, he had a whole bunch of guys making $100,000 or more, $1 million or more a year in his business because all of them were following this system that Jordan had put together. And that was the good thing he did. 97% of what Jordan Belfort did was positive. The other 3% is what kind of messed him up. Was he was doing a lot of drugs, and then he started doing some shady stuff with the Sox that kind of put him out of business, put him in jail, and he lost a whole bunch of his money. But he was actually making a lot of money doing legal stuff. But he just got greedy, and his mind got out of control. He wasn't disciplined enough. Then he did some dumb stuff that got him in jail. He messed up a lot of his life. Now he's kind of building his way back. He wrote books. He did his movie. Now he does a speaking tour. DC Unite 247 just came in. What's up? Those of you in here hitting the hearts, that turquoise, that navy blue, and the orange, whoever y'all are, I appreciate y'all. I probably already know who y'all are. It's probably the people I already recognize because y'all the ones hitting the hearts the most. Keep doing that. The green hearts, the red hearts, reddish pink hearts. I see you too. Please keep hitting those hearts, y'all. We almost at 150,000. I think we're gonna get there by the end of this scope. So please keep hitting those hearts. This is the last quarter mile of the race to get 150,000. But we going for 200. You already know that. And then we going for 10,000. But then 10 million rather. But anyway, Jordan Belfort, when he was talking, the guy was interviewing Jordan. He said, Jordan, the purple is the navy blue. So when I said navy blue, I was talking about purple. Y'all remember the thing with the dress? People couldn't tell what color it was. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Zangelo, I see you. So look, Jordan, when he was talking to Jordan, he was asking Jordan, what are the most important things? And Jordan said, I'll lay it out very simply for people. It's 4 things you got to have if you're going to be successful in any business. These are the 4 things he said. Number 1 thing is vision. This means you got to have a compelling vision that you see yourself at a higher level than wherever you're at right now. Number 2, you got to be able to manage your state. Managing the state means how you feel physically and how you're feeling mentally in the exact moment. So the low state of energy might be, if your stomach hurts and you don't really feel like standing up because your stomach hurts, so you doubled over on the couch and you don't feel like getting up and being excited and energetic. And when you're feeling that way, your mind starts to follow what your body is telling it, which my energy is low, I don't feel like doing nothing. So you got to be able to manage your state, especially when times are challenging. When something's going on that's maybe not the ideal thing, you got to be able to manage your state and have a high level of positive energy. Because if you're going to lead, if you got a vision and you're leading, you got a lot of people watching you and following your lead. So if your energy drops, their energy is going to drop because they can't do any better than you doing if you're the leader. The third thing he said was you got to get rid of all your limiting beliefs. It was all the beliefs that we have that we think are true. They're actually false, but we believe that they're true, and it stops us from getting where we want to go. So our potential could be up here, but if our beliefs are right here, it's going to limit our potential to keep hitting that lid, and we'll never go higher. Or the mental glass ceiling, so to speak. And the fourth thing was you got to have high standards. You got to know it was vision, state, belief, and there was one more thing he said. Oh, strategy. You got to have a great strategy because you might have a great vision for where you want to go. You're able to manage your state. You got this great level of belief. But if you don't have a strategy that tells you exactly how you're going to get there, and the strategy is not sound to get you from point A to point B all the way to point Z, then you're going to fail. Can everybody still see me right now? Is the stream active? Everybody good with the stream? Somebody's telling me that they couldn't see it. Give me some comments, give me some hearts, let me know. Can everybody see me? Everybody can hear me? The audio and the video synced up, no problems with that? All right, perfect. All right, so then the fifth thing, he added a fifth thing, which was standards. You got to have high standards. So vision is the first one. So we're going to talk about vision in this video. What y'all got to understand about vision is the first step to leadership. If you're going to be a leader, Solo Kenny, I see you. If you're going to be a leader in anything in life, you got to have a vision of where it is that you are going. Because you can't lead people if you don't know where you're going. You can't lead people to nowhere or just lead people around, going around in circles like nomads. You have nowhere to go. You got to know exactly where you're going. When they tell the story of Moses, those of you who ever read or heard the story of Moses in the Bible, it talks about he knew where the promised land was. He had a compelling vision of going to the promised land. His vision was so strong that everybody followed him. All his followers followed him because he had a vision of exactly where he was going. If you talk about any leader, Adolf Hitler had a vision. You might not like Hitler. You might not think he's a great person. I don't think he was a great person. He was a hell of a leader because he was able to lead a whole bunch of people to do something that was really terrible to another group of people. But he had such a compelling vision of where he was going and what he was doing that he was able to lead a whole bunch of people. There are a lot of great. Napoleon Bonaparte was a great leader. A great leader. He was able to compel a whole bunch of soldiers to follow him into war, and he had amazing strategies. That's why Napoleon was like. He was like the connoisseur of modern warfare. For those of you who ever read the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, he talks about Napoleon. He's like a huge Napoleon fan. He talks about that. But these are people who are great leaders, and the reason that they were great leaders is because they had a great vision of where they were going. Pat Riley's another guy with a great vision. Yeah, Pat Riley, the president of Miami Heat. When he was a coach, he had a great vision. I read his book. I think he wrote more than one book, but one of his books, he talks about that. He had a vision of where his team was going to go. When he was coaching the Los Angeles Lakers, he put together a program basically for all the players to follow. Like, listen, players, this is where we're going to be at the end of the season. This is in training camp. He said, this is what we're going to do at the end of the season. This is how we're going to get there. I already had the vision. All y'all got to do is follow my lead. And he did it. He set his vision forward. He got the players to buy into his vision, and they actually made it happen. I remember they won the championship one year in 1987. After they came up there and won the championship, they had just, worked themselves to the max to win that championship. Pat Riley got up there at the victory parade. This is like 2 days after they won the championship. He gets up there on the microphone in front of 1 million people in LA and says, guess what? We're going to win it again next year. And all the players was looking at him like, yo, man, we dog tired. We just gave everything we had to win this one. Now you guaranteeing we're going to do the same thing again. And guess what? 1988, they won the championship again. That's a compelling vision. A person has to have a compelling vision if you're going to get people to follow you. 50 Cent, the rapper, when he got shot and he was recovering from his bullet wounds, he talks about this in the 50th Law, his book that he wrote with Robert Greene. He talks about this in his book. He started to put together a vision in his mind because he was laying in a hospital bed for months. He couldn't move, he couldn't run, jump, lift weights, rap. He couldn't do nothing. All he could do was sit and think. And he started reconstructing himself mentally before he reconstructed himself physically. And what he started doing was putting together the vision. Like G-Unit, 50 Cent, that whole image and persona, that whole team that he put together, that was all a vision that he had in his mind. I see y'all with the hearts. Please keep coming with the hearts. Keep the heart beating. I see y'all. He had to come up with a vision. He came up with this vision of what everything that was going to happen. Mixtape campaign, getting signed to a major label deal, putting out his first album as a story of his life, and him being the biggest debut artist in history of rap music. All that was a vision that he had. And if you watch his, I think it was VH1 Behind the Music. I don't know if they even do that anymore. But I remember they were talking to Tony Yayo, and Yayo said, yo, one day 50 called me. He's like, yo, I got a vision for what we going to do. And Yayo bought in immediately. Then they got all these other guys who became the G-Unit, bought in, not even just the rappers, but a bunch of the side guys. They all bought into his vision. They followed his vision, and you saw what ended up happening. Get Rich or Die Trying. The man, changed his entire life, set himself up for life off of that one vision that he had. So the very first step in you being a leader, if you plan on being a leader, and I think most of you do want to be leaders, that's why you're watching this video, is you got to have a vision. You got to have a compelling vision of where you're going. And here's the thing with the vision. Your vision has to be bigger than where you are right now. Your vision has to be bigger than the means that you have to actually make it happen. Let me repeat that one more time, then I'm going to explain what I mean, because everybody understands vision. Like what I just explained about having a vision of where you want to go, what you want to do, stating your goals in a positive, and then stating it as if it already happened. Everybody already knows that stuff. That's old, right? Most of y'all know that, or you heard it before, you read it somewhere before. The thing about a vision is your vision cannot be confined to the resources that you have right now. So what do I mean by that? Like, let's just say, for instance, you're in high school and you're in 10th grade, you're a sophomore in high school, and you want to make the basketball team. Your vision is, I'm going to make the basketball team and I'm going to lead the team in scoring. That's not a big enough vision. The reason why that's not a big enough vision is because you already have the resources. You're already in high school. You already know how to get on the basketball team and score. You know how to score baskets in the game. You can lead the team in scoring. Your vision is too small. It's not going to be compelling enough for you to get where you want to go. Your vision got to be so big that you can't even figure out at first exactly how you're going to make it happen. See, the thing with a vision is you don't have to have all the steps all the way to the end to make it work. So when I talk about vision, and I also mention strategy, you don't have to have all those at the exact same time. The first thing you got to have is a vision. The very first thing you got to have is a vision. Then you got to decide that you're going to make that vision happen no matter what. Once you made that decision, you cut off every possibility of it not happening. Then you figure it out as you go along. You start to take some action and you figure it out as you go along. So the first thing with your vision is you got to have a vision that's bigger than where you're at. Tim Ferriss, he wrote the book called The 4-Hour Workweek, and he talks about this. One thing he says in his book is, look, if you set a goal to make $10,000, that's not going to motivate you. Kevin J. Brown, you're welcome, Kevin J. Brown. He's thanking me for this, but listen, I ain't even get finished. I ain't even get to the meat and potatoes of this yet. If you have a vision, Tim Ferriss said, if you have a vision to make $10,000, right? Let's say you want to make $10,000. Like making the NBA could be something, definitely. So back to the basketball analogy that I just said. Instead of saying you want to lead your high school team in scoring, say something like you want to make the NBA Hall of Fame. Now you can't plan out how you're going to make the NBA Hall of Fame. You don't know what college you're going to go to yet. You don't know how you're going to do in college, if you're going to get drafted, if you're going to be a free agent, what team you're going to play for, how many points you're going to score, how many championships you win, how many all-star games. You have no idea. But if you have a vision, a compelling vision that you're going to do something like that, yes, I've said stuff like this in my motivation videos all the time, but you got to tell people over and over, because telling somebody something one time is not enough. Like, how many of you have been told something one time and didn't do it? So you got to hear something over and over again in order to get the message and then act on the message. So the thing is, like I was talking about Tim Ferriss, you set a goal to make $10,000. It might not be motivating enough for you. Like, say if you already know how to make $1,000 and you set a goal to make $10,000, that might not motivate you that much. It might not get you out of bed the day that you feel sore. It might not make you go outside and walk 10 blocks when it's already raining or it's freezing cold and it's snowing, or your foot is hurt or your ankle is twisted. That's not going to motivate you if you're only trying to go from 1,000 to 10,000. But if you set a goal to make 1 million, that might motivate you. If you really believe it, if you have a vision that you can actually do it, you made a decision that you're going to make that 1 million and your ankle's twisted, you'll get up that day because, listen, I got a vision of making $1 million. And the thing is, and here's the rub here. Here's the thing that you got to understand about having an outsized vision. Most people are not going to have an outsized vision. Most people's vision is going to be based on the resources that they have right now, what they can see around them. So, for example, if you live in the hood, you might have a vision that, you know, I'm gonna make it up out the hood, or I'm gonna get me a good job and I'm gonna get me a nice apartment at those apartments on the other side of the neighborhood that I walk past on my way to school every day. That's the type of vision that most people have, because they base their visions on what they can see right now. You understand that? Most people base their visions on what they can see in front of them right now, or what resources they have right now, what they think they're capable of with the resources that they have in the moment. If that's all your vision is not going to motivate you. And even if you reach it, you're going to get to it and be like, this is it. This is what my vision was. This is what I envisioned. This is as far as I could go. You got to have a vision. If you live in the hood, instead of saying I want to live in those nice apartments that's right outside of our neighborhood, you got to have a vision that says I want to live in this house that I see in this magazine. I don't even know where this is at. I've never even been to this state. I've never even been to this country. I don't know how much money this costs. I don't even know if I don't know if everybody in my family put together ever made as much money as this house costs, but I'm going to live in this house. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know when, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but I'm going to live in this house. And I see y'all with the hearts. Please keep coming with the hearts. And you say, I'm going to live in this house. I don't know how. I'm going to have me a private jet. I'm going to have a helicopter parked on the roof. I'm going to have a butler and a maid, one at nighttime, one in the daytime. I'm going to have 6 cars. I'm going to have a basketball court outside my house. I'm going to have to hire somebody to cut my lawn because there's so much grass. That's the type of vision you got to have when you're coming from a place like that, because your vision has to be so big, so outsized of where you are right now, so far past your current resources that you got to stretch yourself to get to it. You understand that? If your vision doesn't cause you to stretch yourself to get to it, if you could take, basically, look at it like this. If you could take whatever you're doing right now, whatever path you're on right now, and you can see yourself by following the current path that you're on, reaching whatever your vision is way too small. Your vision got to be so big that you like, all right, based on what I'm doing right now, based on the current path that I'm on, there's no way I'm going to be able to make that much money, or have that big of a house, or have this beautiful of a wife, or have my name on this many magazine covers, or have this many followers on Periscope. I got to do something bigger than what I'm doing right now. You understand that? Your vision got to be so big that it's like you can't even fathom it in your mind. How am I even going to make that work? That's how big your vision got to be, that I have no idea even where to begin with that. When your vision is that big and you decide that you can actually make it happen, then that's when you got a real vision. And the Baller 22 says, but people say it's unrealistic. That's a great comment. That's a great point that you made, and I'll address that. And you're absolutely right about that. So let me double back to what I was saying. Most people's visions are based on what they think they're capable of doing. It's based on what they're doing right now, and they compare what they're doing right now to where they see that path going out. So they say, all right, what I'm doing right now, if I keep doing this, I can get here. All right, that's what most people's vision is. It's like if somebody gets a job and they start at $35,000 a year, they're like, all right, if I work for 5 years, I could probably get up to 40, and another 10 years, I get up to 50, and 10 years after that, I could probably get up to 65. So somebody making 30 says I could probably make $65,000 a year if I work here for the next 30 years. That's the vision that most people have. That's what most people consider to be realistic. All right, realistic is a dirty word the way that most people use it. All right, so we don't really like to use the word realistic in most cases because people use it the wrong way. All right, so realistic. That's what most people base their goals on. What's realistic? Realistic usually is based on what people can see in front of them right now. All right, and for those people, guess what? They're absolutely right. It is realistic. That is exactly where they're going to end up. Maybe if they do everything 100% right, you at 30, you might get to 65K in 20 years. If you do everything right, you mess up in one spot, you're going to only get to 50. All right, this is the thing. If you have a vision, you making 30 right now, your vision got to be, man, I want to make 10 million. I want to make 100 million. I want to make $1 billion. You can't even count that high, but I want to make $1 billion. I want to make $1 trillion. You have no idea how you're going to do it. People look at you like, yo, that don't make no sense. That's unrealistic. Look where you at right now. You only making 30 right now. What you talking about making $1 trillion? You don't even know what that type of money looks like. How you think you're going to do that? Why don't you be realistic? That's what most people do. And we talked about this over and over in these periscopes, so I guess I'll repeat it again. If you are thinking, if you are acting, if you are speaking, if you are believing, if you are envisioning the same way that most people do, you are doing something wrong. Actually, you're doing a lot of things wrong. Okay? Understand what I'm saying to you. I got to repeat that because I got to make sure y'all hear that. And I got to make sure y'all share this with somebody. Tell somebody that you know. All right? Tell somebody that you care about what I'm about to say right here. All right? Write it down if you got to. If you are thinking, if you are speaking, if you are acting, if you are believing at the same level that most people are, at the level that most people will call realistic, you are doing a lot of things wrong. Stop doing that. Okay? Take whatever you're thinking right now, all right? Take whatever you're thinking right now, whatever level you think you can get to in life. This is all y'all just watching this periscope. I don't care how great you think. I don't care how high a level you think it is. Take whatever you think you're going to do in life, all right, and multiply it by 100 and say, that's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to multiply this by 100 and I'm going to go to that level. And here's the thing. Here's the first thing that happens when most people get an idea like that. Most people, when they just heard me say that, here's the first thing that most people think when I say something like that. They're like, I will never achieve that. They're like, yeah, it sounds great, Dre. It's great motivational talk. I know it sounds great for the 5 seconds that you said it. And I know if you keep talking, I'm going to feel energized for the rest of this periscope. But as soon as it's over and I start to think rationally and I start to think reasonably and I start to think realistically, I know that's never actually going to happen. Here's the thing. All right, here's the thing. It's not about you actually hitting that goal. It's really not. If you take your vision or whatever you had before you start listening to this, you multiply it by 100, you multiply it by 1,000, and you actually aim for that 100,000 times or whatever your goal was before, and you actually go for it, even if you don't get it, you're still going to finish 50 times higher than where your goal was 5 minutes ago. Do you understand that? So when you set your goals super high, understand that most of the time you are not going to reach them. All right? And that's the problem that most people got. They got these super high goals. They got these goals that actually are not that super high, and they reach them, and then they're like, damn, that's it. That's all I get. That's as far as I'm going to get with this goal. And somebody just knocked on my door that I wanted to talk to, but I got to keep talking to y'all on this periscope. Look, people set goals so low that they reach them. Y'all heard the what's the word? The phrase before. It's not that you set goals too high and miss, it's that you set goals too low and reach them. Because if you set a goal right here and you reach it, now what you going to do? You don't have nothing else to do. And people say, no, set a new goal. No, you want to set your goal so high that you never reach it. Or you want to die reaching for your goal. Whatever your goal happens to be. You set a goal to make $1 trillion. If you set a goal to make $1 trillion and you get it 99% wrong, you still made $1 million. You can check my math on that, but understand the spirit of what I'm saying. All right, that might not be factually correct. Somebody do the math on that. Let me know what's 1% of $1 trillion. Can somebody tell me what that is? If somebody can look that up, please tell me. What is 1% of $1 trillion? Whatever that number is. Or that 1 million is 1% of what? That'd be better. All right. Yes, please keep coming with those. Please keep coming with the hearts. We have 7,000 right now. Keep coming with the hearts, y'all. Listen, you want to make your vision so big that you like, damn, how am I going to actually make this happen? How will I ever hit this goal? I have no idea how I'm going to hit this goal. You want your vision to be so big that you're afraid of telling people about it. You want your vision to be so big that you know you can't talk to your average friends about it because they're not going to get it, and they're going to be looking at you crazy like, what are you talking about? They're not even going to be able to fathom the level that you're thinking at when your goal is that big. You want your vision to be so big that people look at you like, what did you just say? You want to make what? You want to 1 mil is 1% of 100 mil. Actually, he's right. All right, so what's 1% of $1 trillion? All right, that's good math there by Reader. All right, that's why, listen, I didn't do that well in math in college, but I know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. All right, so y'all please help me out with that math. All the numbers, I don't know the math. But what's 1% of 1 trillion? Can somebody please give me that answer? But anyway, you want your vision to be so big that you don't even want to share it with average people. All right, see, this is how you be able to know who an average person is. All right, an average person is the type of person that when you have a super huge vision, you can't even tell them about it because they can't even speak that language. All right, so 1% of a trillion is a billion. All right, so if you set a goal to make, so listen to this, check this out. If you set a vision of making $1 trillion and you get it 99% wrong, you're a billionaire. All right, would all you be okay with failing 99%? Would all you be okay with only 1% success of going for $1 trillion and you end up with $1 billion? Would you be all right with that? Would all of you be okay with failing to the level of $1 billion? All right, I think a lot of people would be good with failing to the level of $1 billion. That's the thing with your vision. Your vision got to be so big that you like, damn, how is this going to happen? I can't talk to nobody about it. Somebody said it's 10 billion. Is it 10 billion or 1 billion? I don't know. This is not math class, all right? But y'all got calculators. That's what I'm asking because I know y'all got calculators on your smartphones, but I know if you pull up the calculator, you might lose the stream. So if anybody's on a computer right now or somewhere that you can actually look this up and tell me what is 1% of 1 trillion. Can somebody look this up? This is not mental math. Put it in the computer. Go to Google it. Somebody please get this answer. We are being stumped trying to figure out what is 1% of 1 trillion. But here's the thing. All right, look. You want your vision to be so big that you can't tell people about it. So somebody said, I think the Baller 22 said, but most people are going to say that's unrealistic. You're right. That's how most people set vision. Their vision is so small that even if they reach it, it's not impressive. All right, you want your vision to be so big that when you reach it, you like people's like, damn. Or even if you come up 10% of it, people are like, wow. And understand that the most successful people you know about. Y'all throw out some names of really successful people, like somebody who's famous and super successful. Because somebody throw out some names of who those people are, and we'll use them as examples. All right. All right. So it's 10 billion. 10 billion is 1% of 1 trillion. All right. LeBron James, Donald Trump. I'm trying to pick somebody who's not a basketball player. I know people want to think basketball. All right, Donald Trump's a good one. Who else got somebody? Somebody who's super successful. Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey. Great. More. Somebody throw out a couple more. I got Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey. Somebody said LeBron, Richard Branson. All right, 10 billion. We got it. 10 billion. Thank y'all for did the math. Cristiano Ronaldo, Warren Buffett. Great. And now Donald Trump. Let's say Donald Trump's worth $1 billion. Jay-Z, Oprah Winfrey, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. How much of these people are all worth $1 billion or so dollars, right? All these people. What do you think their vision was in order for them to be worth $1 billion? Donald Trump's vision was not $1 billion. Donald Trump's vision was like $1 trillion. All right, so he got, if his 10 billion is 1%, that means he got 1/10 of 1% right, and he got $1 billion. All right, Oprah Winfrey's vision was not to be seen by 500 million eyes. Her vision was probably to be seen by 500 billion eyes. Even if she didn't get there, she got to that level. So you can't get to a level like that by aiming for it. All right, what you aim for, you're usually going to come up short if your vision is so high. So you got to make your vision so big that I don't know how many times I got to keep saying the same thing, but y'all get the point. All right, your vision, Bill Gates' vision was to put a computer in the lap of every single person in the world. That was his vision. He said everybody in the world is going to own a personal computer that belongs just to them, and they can use however they want. That was Bill Gates' vision. All right, now today we got Apple computers, we got iPads, we got iPhones, and that's not even Bill Gates' company. But guess what? The personal computer, the PC and the MacBook, all those. Any computer that is only one person's computer is just yours. All y'all got your own computers, right? That nobody else uses, just you. Not all y'all, but I know a lot of you do. By the time you get to adulthood, you're going to have your own laptop and all that. That's Bill Gates' vision. That was a Bill Gates vision. So if you have a computer that is just yours, like is you and your girl, or you and your husband, you and your mom, and each one of you got your own computers, that is Bill Gates' vision. That was his vision to make that happen. His vision was probably even bigger than that. He wanted to do a whole bunch of other things he didn't even do yet. Y'all don't even know yet, because he probably don't tell you every goal that he had. He told you a few, the ones that make sense that he could share with the masses. But he had a vision that was so huge that he got there. Y'all heard the phrase, if you shoot for the moon, if you miss, you're still amongst the stars. And the stars are people who shoot for the moon. The moon. Like, who can actually get to the moon? How many people have actually gotten to the moon? Not too many. Not too many have actually gotten to the moon, but all the famous people that y'all name, even the LeBrons, the Ronaldos, the Bill Gates, the Oprahs, the Donald Trumps, those people, their vision was so huge that most people around them couldn't stay around them no more. Ask Bill Gates and Donald Trump if they still hang with their friends from when they were, how old are y'all? When y'all who are on this Periscope, tell me how old you are. And you can ask these people. 16, 14, 17, 14, 20. Listen, 16. Ask people. Ask if you ever meet a Donald Trump, you ever meet a Bill Gates, you ever meet a Warren Buffett. 26. Ask them. Ask these people. Listen, when you were 14, think of the friends you had when you were 14 and 16. Are they still around right now? Hey, Mr. Donald Trump, Mr. maybe President Donald Trump, 14 years old. Donald, when the friends that you have now, were any of them around when you were 14, Donald? Hey, Warren Buffett, the friends you had when you were 26, are any of them around now? The answer is going to be hell no. They probably can't even remember their names. You know why? Because their vision was so big they had to get a whole new set of friends. By when you aiming for the moon, you got to get a set of friends who aiming for the moon. Because the people who ain't aiming for the moon can't even speak your language. It's like you speaking Chinese and they speaking English. You can't even communicate. It's like if you go to China and you try to walk around speaking English, nobody speaks English, you can't even find a bathroom. Because nobody can understand what you're saying. It's the exact same thing with your vision. Your vision got to be Bill Gates big, that people is like, what are you talking about? That you got to go find Donald Trump so you got somebody to hang with. You understand what I'm saying? And when you get up there, you heard the phrase lonely at the top. There's only a few who can see the same vision that you got. So understand, when people say you're unrealistic and people say that doesn't make sense, people say you can't do it, people say, listen, all the people who tried it before you didn't do it, or you tried it all these times it didn't work, or I tried it and it didn't work, or yo, dude around the corner tried it and it didn't work. Understand that they're average people, that most people are average, yo. They gotta understand that. Most people are average. 97% of people think average. They got average visions. And that's why when they reach it, they like, this is my goal. This was the goal that I set, was to do this. This is what I did. Now what? You got to have a vision so big that you die still going for it. All right. You understand? The baller said, what should you say back to those people? Don't say nothing to them. They speak in Chinese, you speak in English, baller 22. You can't say anything to them. If you go into a Chinese store and the man and woman in there is speaking Chinese and yelling at you, what can you say to them? Nothing that they're going to understand. You might be like, yo, what the fuck is you saying? But they don't even know what you're saying. So it's two people speaking, they yelling at each other, speaking different languages. Nobody communicates with anybody. The best solution to the whole thing is just walk out of the store. All right, what are you even talking to them for? Swish NBA, what's going on? You can't communicate with somebody in Chinese if you don't speak Chinese and you only speak English and they don't speak English. You got to go find some people who speak English so you can talk to them, so you can communicate and get your point across. All right, when Bill Gates started talking about making $1 billion, the friends that he was hanging with in high school when he was 16 probably couldn't see that vision. They was like, yo, if I get a job for $60,000, I'm good. All right, so could he talk to people if he's trying to make $1 billion, they trying to make $60K? They speaking a whole different language. He had to move to a different country, figuratively speaking, which means find some new friends, find a new circle of people so he can find some people he can relate to, so he can share his vision, so they can be like, oh, I see what you're talking about. If Bill Gates calls up Warren Buffett and says, yo, I want to make $1 billion next year, Warren Buffett's going to say, all right, how do we do it? All right, now if Bill Gates calls up one of his average friends from when he was 14 and says, yo, how do I make I want to make $1 billion next year, they're going to be like, they're going to start laughing. They're going to be like, man, what you talking about, man? I'm just trying to make an extra $3,000 when I go to this quarterly report interview with my boss next week. All right, they not even speaking the same language. Do y'all understand that? So you got to understand that you got to find the people who had the same vision as you and understand it's going to be a lonely path. You're going to go through a period. It's going to take some years. You're going to go through a period of years. I didn't say weeks. I didn't say days. I didn't say months. I said years. You're going to go through a period of years where you feel like nobody else sees the vision that you see. And when nobody else sees the vision that you see, we humans, we get lonely. And when humans are lonely, we feel the exact same emotions that we feel when we have physical pain, when we have emotional pain of being alone. Because humans are social creatures. So when we don't have other people we can connect with, we feel the same type of pain we would feel as if you broke your leg. You understand what I'm saying? You got to go through years of maybe feeling alone until you find somebody who can connect with your vision, or until you got so many followers following your vision that you feel like you can connect with those people. But there are people out there who got the vision. You know, some people right now who have a small vision who can grow into having a bigger vision. So if your vision's not big now, it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It just means you were unaware. But now that you got the information, you're responsible for it. So anybody got any questions before I end this? Because I actually got some food to eat. It's getting cold right now. Anybody got any questions right now before I end this particular scope? Because we talking about vision. Understand that vision is everything. He said Dre's the GOAT. I appreciate that. Vision is the #1 key to leadership. I'm at 150K. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who got me to 150K hearts. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is a Periscope video. So I'm talking to people commenting on Periscope. If you ain't on Periscope, join Periscope. And Nick says, how do you bottle up the determination that you got from watching this? That's a great question. That's something Tony Robbins talks about. 'Cause he's like, people come to my seminar and they get all hyped up on a seminar, but when the weekend's over, they go back home and they start doing the same thing that they was doing before. Well, what I'm going to do, what Tony Robbins did, he created courses so that people could follow his information and take it with them forever. I'm coming up with a whole bunch of stuff that y'all going to see later this year, 2015, and definitely in 2016. I'm talking about courses. I'm talking about audio programs, PDFs, like stuff that you could carry with you on your mobile device so you can access it at all times so that you can get this information. You can take the same feeling that you feel right now and you can recreate that because you're going to have it right there on your phone for you. Audio, video, all that stuff is coming. Just trust me, it's coming. I'm working on it, but I'm only one person, so I'm the talent, quote unquote. So I got to do all of it. It'd be one thing if I could, multiply myself by 10 and had 10 people working on it, but there's only one of me. So it's coming, though. Trust me, it is coming. Any questions anybody got before we end this scope? 7:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate y'all coming with the hearts, man. Y'all are doing it great. Y'all are doing it great. Ball said, thanks for the motivation. I'm glad I'm able to motivate, because if I wasn't able to motivate giving messages like this, I wouldn't be doing these scopes at all. Switch asked me, have I found myself losing interest in basketball? No, I haven't lost any interest in basketball. The reason I do the scopes the way that I do it, because plenty of people are already talking about basketball. I want to talk about the mental side of it, because what I found was the more I talked about basketball on YouTube, I was finding a lot of people asking me questions about the mental side. They're like, yo, I get the part about dribbling and going through the legs and how to work on my hops, but a lot of people don't have the mental stuff, because you can have all the physical game, but without the mental side, you ain't going to access it. Raider Nation say he found me. If he didn't find me, he'd be lost. So I appreciate that. Grayson say he loves the motivation on YouTube. I appreciate that. Grayson Frods just came back in. Yeah, so I appreciate all y'all, man. I thank you. Make sure you share this. Share this on your feed so that people who didn't see it the first time can watch it on a replay. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you actually get on Periscope. Get the Periscope app. I know you got a smartphone. You could even watch this on the internet. And when I'm live, you can watch it on the internet as it's happening. So, and Vivid said I saved his life in his b-ball career. Well, I'm happy for that. I take that responsibility seriously, that I'm able to help y'all out in some way, shape, or form. So y'all make sure, because listen, if I'm able to help you, you have to understand there's 7 billion people in the world. There are a bunch of people who probably going through the same thing you are or were going through who could use this. So make sure you share this. Well, I appreciate that. Raider Nation said I should watch Shark Tank. I watch Shark Tank, definitely. I do watch Shark Tank. Kevin O'Leary, Damon John, Barbara Corcoran. What's the other guy? Kevin Herjavec, Mark Cuban, and what's the girl's name? What's the other girl on there? Lori Grenier. Yeah, I do watch Shark Tank. I like that show. That's actually the only TV that I watch. All right, so we ending this scope right now, y'all. Make sure y'all follow me on Twitter at DreAllDay. Question is, when am I coming to California again? Probably in 2016. That's it. We ending this. That's it for tonight. I got some writing to do. I got some recording to do. Make sure y'all share this on your feeds, on your Facebooks. Everybody, let people know where the information is at. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here. And make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.